I want to ask everyone a question really quick. What does the term January 17th mean? Who wants to take a quick guess? What does January 17th mean? January 17th, statistically, is the day that most people give up on their goals. When I say most people, I mean that over 50%. Now, the statistics when we hit the month March is abysmal. It's close to 98.8%. So I'm going to start with a story as to how I learned the importance of identity shifts. At a point in my life, I was formally diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder. Had to see a psychiatrist, psychologist every week. I was prescribed all this medication to try and make myself right. I remember after a year, I kept seeing this psychologist. His name was Mark Moore in Philadelphia. Amazing psychologist, psychotherapist to be specific. And I remember one day I was walking into his office after about a year of being with him, and he kept asking me the same questions about my childhood. I remember having an epiphany one day when I was in his office that rehashing the things that happened to me was actually pigeonholing me into that identity. That sometimes rehashing, justifying where we currently are can cause us more harm than good. So I remember this one day, I had this epiphany and I thought to myself, maybe the reason I'm not having the progress with my anxiety disorder that I wanted to have is because I'm still the identity of an anxious person. I remember learning this experience from a Tony Robbins event that I went to when I was at one of the lowest points in my life. I went to a Tony Robbins event, okay, one of the top personal development teachers in the world. I went to this Tony Robbins event, and I remember he explained this story about people who had quit smoking. And they'd done all these studies, and they had found that there were certain people who were able to quit smoking cigarettes. And there are other people that could never kick the habit. The people who couldn't kick the habit were those that identified as smokers who were trying to quit. They identified as smokers that were trying to kick a habit. Smokers trying to quit. But there is this little language pattern of difference when they did interviews after this long study on people who had quit smoking cigarettes. And there was just a little language pattern in the brains of those who had easily quit fast. What do you think they identified as, those who quit rapidly? Non-smokers. Think about how subtle of a difference. They identified as, I am a non-smoker. So I remember I have this experience. I go to this event. I'm coming to my wit's end with this anxiety problem that I was blessed with, by the way. The greatest gift I've ever been granted on this planet is the ability to look around corners, the ability to have an imaginative what if energy in a positive way. What if is a blessing. What if is a gift. Because the term that goes through an anxious person's head, like myself, is what if all the time. What if? What if? And as soon as my identity shifted from I am an anxiety-ridden person to I am non-anxious, I'm courageous. I'm a public speaker. I remember my first sales presentation, you could see the sweat drip from my armpits. I was so afraid of sales. So I had to convince myself that I wasn't afraid of sales anymore. And I remember I picked up this book called Think and Grow Rich. I remember I was living at my dad's house. And I picked up this book, Think and Grow Rich. I had $0 to my name. I was working for my dad for $500 a week as construction, and I was doing his marketing, which really meant that I was learning about marketing on his dime. Right? And I remember having $0 in my bank account. I read the book, Think and Grow Rich. And I had the insanity to think that I could make $400,000 in a year. So I remember actually wrote down a statement that said, I earn $400,000 per year. At the time, that was everything to me. I earn $400,000 per year. I earn, present tense, future truth, which we'll go into. Present tense wasn't true in the now. Future truth, though, something I would make true, I believed. I had learned the skill of autosuggestion. Autosuggestion is the number one way to self-administer where you're going in your life. Autosuggestion stands for self-suggestion. Self-suggestion. The internal language going through your head is self-suggestion, also known as autosuggestion. So I learned about this topic, autosuggestion and faith, in the book Think and Grow Rich. I wrote down this goal. I earned $400,000 per year, and I immediately looked at what I was doing and realized I'm not going to do that with my dad. So I started looking for other jobs. I started looking like, where could I find a job where I could make $400,000 in a year? And I realized I love doing marketing and I wanted to do sales. So I joined this company called yellowpages.com. And lo and behold, I joined that company with no sales skills. And in 18 months, I didn't make $400,000. I made $265,000 and was the #1 sales rep in the entire company and won President's Club and beat 2,000 other reps in a multi-billion-dollar company in my first real job. I didn't make $400,000. I told everyone in the office, I'm going to earn $400,000. Do you think I had everyone applauding me and saying, that's awesome, we're really supportive of that? How do you think the other sales reps responded? Boo. What the heck? What's this guy got? Ego or something? What's he think he's smarter than us? What's he think he's just going to come in and I got experience, man. I was competing against sales reps who literally bragged about being in sales for 20 years. To me, I was like, what? If I'm in sales in 20 years, like there's a severe problem here. Like there needs to be advancement. So I came in with that belief and I just smiled and smiled. And I remember my first month, I ended up making 10 sales in my first month and I beat the entire office, my first month in sales. Only difference is I was actually making the calls, right? After a few months, they thought it was luck. They thought it was luck. They thought it was luck. They thought, and 6 months later, I won in the entire region, the entire Northeastern United States of all the reps in the company. Then we go to this Panera for a meeting and everyone's asking me for advice. And I loved giving. And we had this whiteboard this one day and all the sales reps who were at yellowpages.com at that time in the Northeastern region got trained by me. I was like, oh, here's how we're doing cold email. Here's how we're doing this. Here's what I was like so excited, right? And I remember that this guy came up to me afterwards and was like, hey, why'd you train everyone in the team? What do you want something from us? You want us to like split our sales with you or something? And I just looked at him and I was like, no, like I love giving back. I hope everyone else is successful. I want everyone around me to be better sales reps. I remember I told my sales rep one day, I said, hey, can you hold us accountable more? Can you demand of us to send you every single hour how many calls we made? What do you think the other sales rep said to that? Oh, why are you doing that, Bill? And here I am, like, I'm like, dude, hold me accountable every 30 minutes if it's required. Right? The reason was I was so attached to that 400K goal that I was insane enough to do whatever it took to get there with no experience. Fast forward to this year. As a lot of you know, our business now in its 4th year will surpass $10 million in annualized revenue. So we've built an 8-figure business. I'm 30 years old. We have built a business that will do over $10 million in revenue and booked revenue. And that's just our baseline for 2022. And our target is almost double that for 2022. I followed the same process, guys. It's not rocket science. It's not crazy stuff. And by no means am I saying that I have all the answers, because I surely know that I don't have all the answers. You need to have this much of the commitment. You can have that much of the answers, though. Right? You're not going to have all the answers. That's okay. So I used the same principle. And I remember I had a call. Now, as you guys know, I'm personally coached by the COO of 1-800-GOT-JUNK, Cameron Herold. My personal coach, he's scaled 1-800-GOT-JUNK to $106 million in 5 years. I meet with him 2 times a month. And I remember I told him this week, I told him, I do $8.8 million this year. I do $8.8 million this year. I do $8.8 million this year. I paced around my kitchen every single morning in my underwear, reciting myself. I do $8 million. I do $8 million. I do $8 million. I do. When a new reality enters your conscious mind, your subconscious will fight against it. That's not enough data to support. How many of you are guilty of this? Say me. If you're guilty of talking yourself out of a bigger future because of your current reality not matching it. Not enough. No truth. That's fine. It's not eliminating the doubts. It's being okay with them. Yeah, it's cool. I'm expecting doubt as I go on this bigger future that I've created. I expect the doubt. It's okay, doubt. Be my friend. I'm not affected by you. I know you're there. That's okay. And I had the same feeling when I canceled my psychologist. I'm a non-anxious person. I'm a non-anxious person. I'm a non-anxious person. I'm a non-anxious person. Do you think there were days I thought, well, he told me I'm going to be like this forever, and he told me I'm this, and he told me I'm that. I'm non-anxious. I'm a non-anxious. I'm a non-anxious. I'm a non. Doubt it's not about not having doubt. Even Elon Musk said it. Okay? It's not that I'm fearless. It's that I do things that are important to me in spite of the fear. So when I had this call with Cameron recently, he said, how are you doing on your $8.8 million goal? But I told Cameron, holy crap, we had $726,000 in monthly revenue booked for 2022. And he said, multiply that by 12. And it came out to $8.8 million. Now that's before we had other stuff happen that put us past the 8-figure mark. But the bottom line is I spent 11 months of the year believing that maybe my goal was a pipe dream. Maybe this wasn't going to happen for me. I'm going to keep the goal clear, but the doubts were always there all year. And with 30 days to go in the year, we pulled off the goal. I almost cried. So I want to share with you guys The most important thing that ever happened in this process was I had a major definite purpose statement. Now, there is no teleprompter here. Okay, there is a screen right here. Okay, I'm touching the screen. There is no teleprompter. I don't need a teleprompter. I say this to myself every single morning. And I will repeat to you my entire major definite purpose statement right now. This is the statement I repeat to myself every morning. I've done this for 5 years, or I've done this, actually, I wasn't as consistent when I was in sales, but I've done this every day for over 5 years now. And I record it on my Instagram. So there's proof. Here's the whole thing. Ready? By the 31st day of December 2026, I have in my possession $256 million in annualized revenues, of which come to me in various amounts from time to time during the interim. In exchange for this money, I will give the most efficient service of which I am capable, rendering the fullest possible quantity of the best possible quality of blue ocean business growth services, education, and coaching, of which have the biggest positive impact on the industries that I enter. I believe I will have this money in my possession. My faith is so strong that I can now see this money before my eyes and I can touch it with my hands. It is now awaiting transfer to me at the time and in the proportion that I deliver the service I intend to render for it. I am awaiting a plan by which to accumulate this money, and I will follow that plan when it is received. I know that I have the ability to achieve the object of my definite purpose in life. Therefore, I demand of myself persistent, continuous action towards its attainment, and I here and now promise to take such action. I fully realize that the dominating thoughts of my mind will eventually reproduce themselves in outward physical action and gradually transform themselves into physical reality. Therefore, I will concentrate my thoughts for 30 minutes daily upon the task of thinking of the person I intend to become, thereby creating in my mind a clear mental picture of that person. I know through the principle of auto-suggestion that any desire that I persistently hold in my mind will eventually seek expression through some practical means of attaining the object. Therefore, I will devote 10 minutes daily to demanding of myself the development of self-confidence. I've clearly written down a description of my definite chief aim in life, and I will never stop trying until I've developed sufficient self-confidence for its attainment. I fully realize that no wealth or position can long endure unless it's built upon truth and justice. Therefore, I will engage in no transaction that does not benefit all whom it affects. I will succeed by attracting to myself the forces that I wish to use in the cooperation of other people. I will induce others to serve me because of my willingness to serve others. I will eliminate hatred, envy, jealousy, selfishness, and cynicism by developing love and positivity for all humanity, because I know a negative attitude towards others will never bring me success. I will cause others to believe in me because I will believe in them and in myself. I will sign my name to this formula, commit it to memory, and repeat it out loud once per day with full faith that it will gradually influence my thoughts and actions so that I will become a self-reliant and successful person. That is word for word from the book, Think and Grow Rich. I recite that statement by memory every single morning for years. I don't need to know how it's going to happen. Okay? I don't believe it's even possible right now. I don't need to believe it's possible. I need to have the commitment. So that is my conviction habit. I then believe that's not enough. So I have to write down these goals every single morning. So I have a whole list of goals I write down. Every single goal that I write down every morning has a number 1 next to it. I don't list my goals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, because as soon as you get the 5, your brain's like, oh, that's 5th in priority. No, 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 no. Every single goal I set has a number 1 next to it. Number 1, this. Number 1, that. Number 1, this. Number 1, that. Every single one of us needs a habit through which you create conviction. And that's mine. Find yours.